Corla, I think we have to realise that this is the first time that we're allowing for the pension of existing pensioners to potentially be reduced, and that's very, very serious. It's been done in the name of fairness. But the point of these amendments is really, is it fair to allow that against the backdrop of a successful, profitable, viable company? And the reality has been is that some employers have exploited the present lack of clarity in order to walk away from their responsibilities, because the Minister has said that these companies engaged on a voluntary basis, and it's true there was no statutory obligation to them to set up a scheme, but they did it and they made an obligation then. It wasn't voluntary for the employees. There are people at the moment paying into pension schemes who, for every euro they're putting in at the moment, they will get back 32 cents. It's dead money, but it's a condition of their employment. So it wasn't voluntary for the employees, and there is a legal obligation which has been agreed by the commercial courts, which have said that it is a contingent liability in these circumstances. And you know, you've mentioned FRS 17, that this being a factor for the problems. I think we should realise that while this has been in existence since the 80s, it was only really in the late 90s that some companies started using this as an issue here. So I don't think that's an excuse, and the Pension Board has already adjudicated on these issues that it doesn't replace the statutory obligation. For the Minister to argue that a defined benefit scheme and us putting the onus on employers would give a competitive advantage to other companies who don't, I think is unbelievable. I mean, that is just like a recipe for brute neoliberalism. You're nearly arguing for a race to the bottom, because the same argument could be said about decent pay, about sick pay schemes and so on. So is the answer to that to have none of those employee benefits or decent conditions of work because it might put a company at a competitive disadvantage? Of course it isn't. It is a case on us to tighten that up so that all employers stand by this. The last very point, Cathaoirleach, the Minister made the point that a number of schemes have been restructuring, but it's at what price? And you know, the fact is that under this new arrangement now, it doesn't mean that I suppose the pain is being shared, and you know, you are including pensioners for the first time, when in actual fact, if you took on board some of these amendments, you could tighten up on employer responsibility.